Alright everybody, Manithral here, and welcome to a bit of a sneak peek into Necromancy from what we've seen from the video, from a few other videos I've watched, and the website itself. Now, of course, right now, a lot of us already seen everything, and I would encourage you to definitely check out RuneScape's official video. I know Makeru and all of them, Protox, they're probably only allowed to give us so much information, obviously, for obvious reasons, because, you know, numbers. Makeru and Wazi, I watched theirs. I mean, there's obvious things that Jax doesn't set out yet, because there's still some balancing going on. But the overall upskill looks like it's pretty far along, if not close to being done. I don't know how close, obviously. But it looks like it's pretty cool. As you can see, I watched a couple of the videos. The only thing I skipped out on at the end of both of their videos is kind of like their thoughts on it. While I appreciate their thoughts and stuff like that, I also want to kind of have my own thoughts. And I don't want it to be influenced by, you know, other people's thoughts. But, so... this is something that I kind of wasn't expecting, but at the same time expecting, is Necromancy is going to be a new combat style. Not just new combat in general for, like, you know, magic. It's going to be its own unique style. So that means there's no longer just the combat triangle. It is now, well, essentially combat square. I think that was Makeru or Wazi that said that. But essentially, that's what it is. And what this means is that right now there is no protection prayers against this, whether it be just PvP or PvM, because, you know, you still have stuff like Cow-Fight Queen and stuff like that that use protection prayers. But also, it's just the fact that, you know, nothing's going to necessarily be weak to this right now, but nothing's necessarily going to be strong to this right now. So that's kind of interesting too. But yes, this is going to be a new standalone combat style. So a brand new combat style. Now, if you watched the video, there is going to be, well, you have your Death Guard, which is going to be like kind of like a fist-like weapon. That you wear on your hand, but then you also have your skull lantern, which is looking pretty awesome. In some of the cutscenes, you can actually see that they have it augmented, so that is something to keep in mind, that later on you'll be able to get that augmented. You can, yes, indeed have summon followers that will help you aid you in battle for a short duration. But that's only a small portion of what Necromancy really is going to be. But this is going to be a new combat style, and this skill goes all the way up to 120. And if I remember correctly in the videos, that means that the combat level is going to be going up to, from whatever it is currently, I think it's like, what, 138, all the way up to 152 by the time you master this one as well. So that is going to be pretty awesome to see. And yes, the new skill kit for it has been leaked, as you can see here, the master variant. One thing too is the gear actually gets upgraded as you go through your levels, the gear you are given for it. Now there is going to be other stuff that is apart from that. Because there is actually at the very end of this, well, not, I won't say the very end of the skill, towards the end of the skill, there is a boss that comes with this. There's also 7 quests that comes with it, a brand new city that comes with this, and there's obviously there's so much that can be done with this that probably will be done. But there's also going to be a tier 95 necromancy weapon and armors that come from this. I'm not sure if this is alluding to that or not, but that looks pretty awesome. There is going to be new runes, so the current runes aren't necessarily a big deal. but there's going to be new runes. There's going to be stuff that, you know, you have to buy, which is candles and stuff to perform rituals. And a lot of this kind of stuff you can't do just with plain Jane stuff. You can't just go farm it. You have to, well, technically you could farm some of that, I should say, but you actually have to go through and like do certain things in order to actually get what you primarily need. Now the only thing we can see that we kind of got off, well, from the beginning, is there is going to be new types of combat with this, which is such as abilities with talents. So this talent tree, yes, you can eventually lock all of it, but as you're going through it, you can only lock so much at a time. And as you can see, even the first thing, now this is probably subject to change, but the very first thing requires 76 necromancy for the life transfer. So you can this is what it says: sacrifice part of your life to extend your link to your spirits from the underworld. So at 50% damage to self, extend the duration of each spirit link by 15 seconds. So if you have a way to heal yourself rapidly, well, that's actually this one way up here. It's not the initial one, sorry about that. But if you find a way to, you know, actually have quick heals and hard heals, that's going to be really amazing. Like I said, there's going to be new runes, which is Bone, Spirit, Flesh, and Miasma. We don't know exactly where those dive into. We do know there's rituals, which will be the main, like one of the main things you walk into the city for. So, sorry, I had a hair in my mouth for some reason. There is that, and the city we're going to be going to is called the City of So, like, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on with this. The reason why I suggest just watching RuneScape's video or watching, you know, Protox, Makaru, like, one of them, is because of, like, the images. Like, I could tell you about a lot of the stuff that we're going to be getting, but there is more stuff in those videos. Like, you have the visual aids that come with it, essentially. But now there is one thing that I primarily wanted to talk about, which is the existing items used by Necromancy. So I'm going to actually click here for the full list. So this is the final note for the team. They wanted to make sure that we all had the same basic starting, you know, like advantage as the other ones, like the people who got to test it out. Now the thing of it is, this full list, so anything that those people got to, well, the playtesters got to go and do early, if they would have been caught buying up these items beforehand, there was actually a penalty that came with it. So they were warned about that, to not abuse the knowledge that they did have, and they were actually sworn to it. But the full list of items that we should all keep an eye out for is Pure Essence, Overload Potions. So pre-made overloads will update to include Necromancy Boost. Ones made after the update will require Extreme Necromancy Potions to make. So if you have Overload Potions or higher, now's the time to make them before this change hits, because obviously it's going to get harder. Bones, big bones, baby dragon bones, wyvern bones, dragon bones, Dagonoth bones, auric bones, hardened dragon bones, dragonkin bones, dinosaur bones, frost dragon bones, reinforced dragon bones, subjugation chest, head, and legs. So if you're like me and been collecting those, that's good. Spectral Spirit Shield, Draconic Visage, Spider Silk chest, head, and legs, Mystic chest, head, and legs, only the blue variant is currently used, and Algarium Thread. So there's all of that, but there is going to be an XP embargo and grace period. So there will not, like, any of the lamps, stars, etc. will not be able to be used in the first 6 months. And the grace period for such as completion requirements have yet to be locked at this point in development, so they will update us on the grace period when it gets closer to launch. This way, people who have those, be assured they are thinking of you when they say about it. But this is going to be huge because, yes, you will be able to summon, I believe they said approximately, whether this changes or not, because some things are still yet to be determined, up to 5 followers at a time. And yeah, this is just purely, and I know some people are going to hate this, but purely a combat update. Now, unlike other combat updates, well, I guess apart from stuff like the beach, combat has not been able to been upgraded or, done in a skill fashion other than stuff like that. Which Necromancy has its own way of getting you XP without actually having to do combat. So there is a thing that are called the rituals. If you do just the rituals, you can get Necromancy XP and never touch combat. So it is available to be done that way, but overall, by the end of it, combat is the best way XP wise. So it is something to kind of keep in mind, but yeah, this is going to be pretty epic, guys. I'm not going to make this video really any longer because that's essentially what is known, is its versatility for combat. And it's just mostly going to be implementing and experiencing, and all the quests that are going to come with it. Now, I don't know if they're going to be long quests or short quests. Probably all short to mid quests, and then probably one long quest at the end. Because I guess from what I heard, there's a total of 7 quests for one for each tier, and you have to have done each one to unlock each tier. So there is that. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. And they're talking about the city being more and more flushed out. So as you do more and more stuff, the city will get more and more quote unquote lively. Yeah, if you want to stockpile some of this, go ahead. The rituals take a little bit of time, so stuff like the bones, it's going to be not overly overbearing on bones, but it will be helpful. The higher quality of bones, the better. That is one thing they did say too, because you'll get more of a turnaround for it. And I'm happy to see something like the Subjugation and Spider Silk and Mystic actually getting some attention here, because I feel like that's going to be kind of big. And I'm very happy to see that. It kind of breathes new life into those things. I'm very curious about the Draconic Visage. But these are things to keep in mind about. The rune crafting is going to be a big deal again, too, with this. So I don't know in which way. It just says to me that there's probably going to be some spells tied into it with it. But to what degree, I have no idea. And the followers apparently are very powerful, very beefy. So it's something that's kind of worth delving into. And this is going to be something that's going to take a lot of us a lot of time to start to master. So you'll be seeing a lot of stuff once Necromancy hits. Not only just from me, but from everybody in general. But that'll do it for this video, because like I said, apart from that little bit of knowledge we have, there's not a whole lot that was shared, other than it being basically a combat thing that you get to go through. There is lore that is going to be tied to it, and everything you can imagine. I was kind of hoping to see a little bit more skilling aspect, like maybe have like a station where you can have your undead city be like kind of like collect everything for you, like maybe they burnt sand and stuff like that, and have them do stuff for you like that. But I don't know, but there that could be still. But you know, that'll do it for this video. So thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, later, guys.